Good morning, children. Let us continue the chapter that is sectors of Indian economy. Children, we have seen in the last video, we have compared all the three sectors, and in this graph, you can just see share of sectors in GDP, the percentage. You can just see here in 1973. The percentage of here it is the down one, you can see the green color, that is the primary sector, yellow that is secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. In 1973 we can see where the percentage is more. So according to the graph, we can see 1973 the percentage of primary sector was more than two other sectors. But again, if we see according to our textbook, the picture what is given in the textbook, so we have seen here the primary sector went down and compared to the tertiary sector. Here we can see the violet color, the percentage is more than the primary sector. So there is increase in the tertiary sector by this graph that is graph 2, share of sectors in GDP. Rising importance of tertiary sector. So what is the importance of tertiary sector in production? Let us see. Basic services like hospital, education, post and telegraph, court, etc. are responsibility of the government in developing the country. So it is the responsibility of the government for government in the developing country. What? The basic services like what? Hospital, education, post and telegraph, courts, etc. So this is the responsibility of whom? The government in the developing area. The government should look after this all work. Demand for the next point, demand for the services such as transport, trade, storage will increase with the development of primary and secondary sector. So here demand for the service that what we are talking about, the primary and secondary sector will increase by how it will be increased? By transport, trade and storage with the help of development of primary and secondary sector. Now, demand for the tourism, shopping, private school, private hospital, etc. increases with the increase in the level of income. So, the increase in the level will be how? The demand for the tourism, shopping, private schools, private hospital, etc. Next point, rapid growth of service sector. Rapid growth of service sector also benefited for the external demand such as software industry and call center services. So there will be rapid increase, that is rapid growth of service sector and demand such as software industry and call center services. Liberalization of financial sector provide an environmental for the faster growth of financial services. Underemployment is hidden kind of unemployment. Underemployment is hidden kind of unemployment. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is the situation of underemployment, where people are working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. Now, let us see open unemployment refer to the situation in which an individual has no job. Open employment refers to the situation in which an individual has no job and able to earn his livelihood. This unemployment is clearly visible. Distinguished unemployment refers to the situation in which people work at the place where there is no more people are required. The situation in which people are appearing working but all of them are made to work less than their potential. This unemployment is hidden. Here the unemployment is hidden. There we will be seeing a act, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, that is NREGA 2000. This was an act. What happened? Let us see. The central government in India made a law implementing the right to work in 200 districts of India. There was an act passed in 2005. It was the central government in India made a law implementing the right to work in 200 districts of India. It is called National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005, that is NREGA 2005. Under NREGA 2005, all those who are able to and are in need of work in rural area are guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government. So by the government, what was given? Given a guarantee of 100 days of employment in a year by the government. That facility was given. If the government fail in its duty to provide employment, it will give unemployment allowance to the people. That means allowance will be given to the people by the government if they fail in its duty. Now let us see the sectors on the basis of employment condition. Now in the last video we have seen organized and unorganized sector. The organized sector covers those enterprises or places of work where the team of employment are regular and therefore people are assured work. They are registered by the government to have to follow its rules and regulations. That means they are registered by the government and they have to follow its rules and regulation. In which sector? Organized sector, which are given in various laws such as Factories Act, Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, Shop Act, etc. Example are Reliance Industries Limited and Tata Motor, etc. So this rules and regulation will be where? That is found in the organized sector. Unorganized sector. The unorganized sector contains enterprises not registered by the government. The unorganized sector is characterized by small units which do not follow proper rules for employment or give any leave or other benefit, for example, casual worker in construction and shop and garages, etc. Now, how to protect workers in the unorganized sector? Measures to protect them means how to protect the workers in the unorganized. Now, you see, we have seen that organized sector, they are having all the facilities by the government and rules and regulation, but for the unorganized sector there should be some measure to protect them. Farmers should be supported through the aquatic facility for timely delivery of agriculture input, seeds, credit, storage and marketing facilities. Second is small scale industries should be supported for producing raw materials and marketing their output, which will also help the casual worker. Steps should be taken so that the worker for the scheduled caste, tribe and backward communities do not face social discrimination. So these are the uh, steps should be taken for all the workers, that is the scheduled caste tribes, that means backward people and their backward community, so that they should not face any social discrimination. So these are the measurement to protect the unorganized sector. Now, sector based on the basis of ownership: public sector and private sector. How many sectors are there? There are two sectors here, the public sector and the private sector. In public sector, the government owns most of the assets and provide all services, for example, railway or post office. So this is governed or controlled by the government. That is what? Public sector. This is, they provide all the services or they provide all the facility to the public sector, because that is public sector, that is run by the government. Now here private sector. In the private sector, ownership of assist and delivery of services in the hands of private individuals or companies. Companies like Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, that is TISCO, or Reliance Industry, that is, are privately owned. That means this all private sector, that is in the hands of the ownership, that means the individual companies look after this all sectors, that is the private sectors. That is, you can just see the example of Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, that is TISCO and Reliance Industry. This all are run by the private or individual companies. Now, after learning this chapter was very small chapter. After learning this chapter, you should be able to know what? Let us see. You should understand the classification of Indian economy in different component or sector. You should understand. That means you should understand the classification in primary sector, what work comes, secondary sector and tertiary sector. You should also identify the difference between the sectors of our economy. You should identify which sector, organized sector, unorganized sector, or primary sector, or tertiary sector. Trace the change which have taken place in these sectors since the olden days. We have seen the graphs and all, no? So, which sector is increasing or which sector has improved in production and all we have seen. Last is understand the rising importance of tertiary sector. Now we have seen that this sector there is increase, it is going on improving. So that's all with the chapter, and you will be getting the PDF and you can write the question answer. Let us see the new chapter in the next video.